My name is Liam, 24, remote UI designer by trade, overeducated for the coffee I drink, and habitually late for the simplest things. If you met me on a run-of-the-mill Tuesday, you'd notice my tired eyes and the way I keep my hair pushed back with one hand because it's easier than a brush. You probably wouldn't notice the shoebox I keep in the back of my closet, the one with a bent lid and a strip of tape on it, labeled in a handwriting I don't trust to anyone else's eyes. That shoebox is my private museum. Inside are things I've never talked about out loud. A pair of kitten heels I bought in secret during a midnight sale, a soft wig I only let myself touch on lonely nights, and a few dresses folded so carefully they almost look innocent. To anyone who knows me, my coworkers, the barista down the street, my girlfriend Emma, I'm just Liam, steady, practical, the guy who sketches interface flows and hates meetings that could have been emails. The private version of me lives in 2-hour stretches after midnight, when the world has quieted and the apartment is only the hum of the fridge and the glow of my laptop. Emma thinks she knows me. She's the kind of person who writes lists in her phone and checks them twice. She loves rugs with geometric patterns, takes better photos of her food than she cares to admit, and calls me when she sees a headline she thinks will annoy me. We've been together 2 years. She's warm, decisive, and the only person whose laughter makes me put down whatever I'm doing. With Emma, life is a plan you can trust. Date night on Thursdays, call your mother on Sundays, don't forget to water the fern. That structure is comforting. It's also terrifying, because it means there's a version of myself I've never shown her, and sometimes at night I worry the secret is too heavy to keep. I didn't always know this part of myself. The curiosity started small and harmless. A fascination with fabric, the way a skirt swings, a lipstick shade that seemed, in photos, to promise a different kind of confidence. At first it was a study in exercise and empathy, I told myself. Later it was an experiment. Now it's habit, a private ritual of slipping into something that feels like an alternate truth and checking the way light finds my cheekbones. It's not about wanting to escape Liam. Most days I still like my simple shirts and strong coffee. It's about tasting a self I doubt I'll ever have the courage to show fully. Working from home gives me the cover I need. I design interfaces that are tidy and rational while my other self feels messy and electric. I can schedule my day around a quiet hour to order something that will be delivered to a locker, to get a package late at night when the hallway is empty. The job buys me that flexibility, deadlines, yes, but also the lonely freedom to be clandestine without explaining heavy emotions to a human manager. My mother calls it convenient. I call it breathing space. Mom, Janet, is the kind of woman who makes extravagant casseroles and remembers everyone's birthday in the family group chat. She lives 2 blocks away, a small house with a porch that creaks in the wind. She's warm in the way that makes neighbors borrow sugar and stay an hour too long. She's also theatrical. She loves a costume for the slightest excuse and believes the right shoes can solve a bad mood. I love her. I fear her. Mostly I fear how her love comes with a kind of bright, invasive curiosity that plucks secrets like loose threads. That's why the idea that she could ever find my shoebox feels like a small apocalypse. In my head, there are 3 terrible outcomes. She shrugs and forgets, she laughs and posts a photo to the family chat, or, worst, she looks at me differently. The thought of Emma, coffee in hand, seeing me in a dress I rehearsed for the mirror, makes my throat close down like a fist. So when Mom came over last weekend with a box of old shoes, she said, "We should clear out the closet." I felt my stomach go cold in a way that had nothing to do with the weather. She loves purging. It's therapy for her. She arranges things by season and sentiment, and she always finds the story in the seams. I try to be helpful, moving a stack of boxes, folding laundry, while she hummed and reminisced about heels she wore to the big dance and the way a particular satin pair made her feel invincible. Her voice was soft and nostalgic, and I kept my hands busy so I wouldn't be tempted to show the box with the taped lid. Then she found the shoes I'd hidden for later. No, not my box. A pair I'd only tried once. Silver slingbacks with a low heel that clicked on hardwood, but she didn't see the label. She saw the shoes. I felt it before I heard it. The sharp intake. The pause of discovery. "Liam," she said, but there was no accusation in the tone, only the bright, mischievous note she gets when she's going to push something into a new direction. Try them on.
Come on.
Humor your old mother. Just try them. There are moments that feel like a tiny stone dropped into a pond. The ripple takes seconds, but the circle keeps growing. In that second I could have lied, said they weren't mine, said I was saving them for a friend. Or I could have taken them, placed them back, moved on. But my hands moved before my brain did. I picked them up. Just for a second, I said, because adults always make bargains in small words. Her grin widened. She has this way of being theatrical, putting the shoes on, balancing on the ball of her foot, making the faintest pout. She wanted a show. I wanted to melt into the floor. But I could feel curiosity mix with the fear, and it was a combustible thing. I sat on the edge of the old sofa, feeling ridiculous as my toes slid into satin. The strap fit snugly. The heel nudged my calf in a way that made my calves tense. When I stood, the world tilted. Not in the way I'd expected from the high-heeled image on some late-night impulse buy, but softer, like a different gravity. The click of each step made my chest small and wide at once. My reflection in the hallway mirror looked both absurd and hauntingly possible. Mom clapped her hands, delighted.
See?
You should try everything. You never know. She laughed, and in that laugh was the smallest friction of trouble and electricity. She didn't know, not really. But the line had been crossed. A seed had been planted in the soil of our living room, and I could feel it beginning to grow. That night, when I tucked myself back into my apartment and texted Emma a picture of takeout to cover for dinner with Mom, my thumb hovered over the shoebox photo I hadn't taken. I felt equal parts guilty and awake. The heels went back in their place, but their rhythm stayed in my bones. My secret, the shoebox, the wig, the lipstick, none of it had changed hands. Yet something had shifted. The possibility that something I'd only tried in private had been nudged closer to daylight. And when I closed my eyes, instead of the usual scramble to pretend I was ordinary, I heard the faint, addictive echo of heels on hardwood. It kept time with my pulse, and for the first time in a long while, I didn't know if I wanted it to stop. The morning after the heels incident, I told myself it had been nothing more than a silly moment, a bit of harmless theater to keep my mom entertained. That's how she is. She loves to play, to push, to make the ordinary sparkle with something absurd. I convinced myself that once the shoes were tucked back into her closet, the memory would fade the way her casseroles always did after a few days in the fridge, rich in the moment, but quickly forgotten. Except it didn't fade. The sound of the click still echoed in my head, sharper than my keyboard keys. The way my calves had flexed, the sudden rush of vulnerability and power when I looked at my reflection, it kept replaying like a secret clip on loop. And worst of all, Mom wasn't about to let it slide. She called 2 days later. "Liam," she said with that mischievous smile tucked into her voice, "I found another pair. Higher ones. They're gorgeous. You should stop by this weekend and try them. Just for fun." I almost dropped my coffee. "Mom." "Don't mom me," she cut in cheerfully. "You made me laugh last time. You looked adorable. And it's not like anyone's going to see. Just us. Humor me." I laughed it off, tried to deflect, but she had already hung up, leaving me with a date I hadn't agreed to and a knot in my stomach. Saturday came faster than I expected. I told Emma I was helping Mom sort old boxes again, half true, half lie. Emma barely looked up from her laptop, too buried in editing photos for her blog to notice the crack in my voice. Still, I hated the lie. It stacked on top of all the others, bricks in a wall I kept building between us. At Mom's, the shoes were waiting. Black patent leather stilettos with a heel taller than my thumb. She held them out like an offering, her eyes sparkling. I shook my head, but she pushed them into my hands. "Come on, Liam.
Don't be shy.
You've got good legs, you should show them off." "Mom, I'm not." She tilted her head, her grin softening into something sharper, more persuasive. "One walk across the room. That's all. Then I'll stop teasing." But she wouldn't stop, I knew it. And yet, I sat down, fingers trembling as I slid into the shoes. They hugged tighter than the last pair, arching my feet unnaturally, forcing me upright in a way that made every step a risk. Mom clapped as I wobbled, laughing at my half-stumbles.
See?
Gorgeous. You've got the posture for it. Don't slouch, darling, chest out. Yes, like that. The way she said darling lodged in my chest. My reflection in her mirror was ridiculous. Plain t-shirt, loose jeans rolled at the cuff, but topped with heels that demanded to be taken seriously. My cheeks burned. But beneath the embarrassment was something darker. Thrilling. After that, the game became routine. Whenever I visited, she would find another pair, sometimes sandals, sometimes boots. Sometimes she'd insist I walk a few more steps, practice balance. Own it. She said it all with laughter, but I began to notice the way she studied me, as if she was waiting for me to slip, to reveal something more than a joke. And in those moments, something dangerous began to stir. I wanted to. At home, I found myself digging into the shoebox again. My old kitten heels felt childish compared to the ones Mom had shown me. I'd slipped them on while pacing the apartment, every step sharp against the floor, rehearsing movements I couldn't admit to anyone. I'd catch myself in the mirror, hair messy, stubble rough, but my stance altered, my silhouette stretched by a few inches of power. The contrast was absurd. It was intoxicating. That's when the fear grew sharper, too, because secrets rot in silence. And Emma was sharp. One night, Emma surprised me by coming home early from her photography class. I had just slipped into my wig and heels, trying on an old sundress I'd ordered months ago, when I heard her keys at the door. My blood froze. I nearly twisted my ankle ripping the heels off, dragging the dress over my head. The wig snagged on my hair, static clinging. I shoved everything into the shoebox and slid it under the bed, breath racing. When Emma walked in, I was just in sweatpants, laptop open, pretending to type. She kissed my cheek, her hand brushing against the sheen of sweat there. Working hard, she teased. Yeah, I croaked, my throat dry. She smiled, but her eyes lingered. Just a moment too long. The whole night, I felt her glancing at me, curious, suspicious. The more I tried to hide, the more reckless I became. One evening after a fight, something stupid about laundry, I pulled the shoebox out like a cigarette craving. The heels called to me louder than reason. I dressed fully, makeup sloppy but passable, and paced the apartment until the floor echoed with each click. My heart pounded with a mix of guilt and relief, like letting out a scream into a pillow. I didn't hear the neighbor knock. The sound jolted me. My blood went ice cold. Through the peephole, I saw Mrs. Green, the old woman from across the hall, holding a misdelivered package. She knocked again. I panicked, ripped the wig off, shoved the heels under the couch, but the eyeliner was still smeared across my face when I cracked the door open. Her eyes narrowed. She said nothing about the smell of perfume in the air, nothing about my flushed cheeks. She simply handed me the package and said, "Be careful, dear," in a tone that made my skin crawl with suspicion. When I closed the door, I realized my hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold the box. The stakes were rising. I knew it. But what I didn't know was that Mom wasn't finished, not by a long shot. The next weekend, when I visited her again, she didn't just bring out shoes. She brought out a dress. "Try it with these," she said, holding up crimson heels and a matching sheath dress. I laughed nervously. "Mom, come on, this is..." Her tone dropped, firmer now. "I'm serious, Liam. You've been humoring me long enough. Let's see the full picture." The way she looked at me, it wasn't teasing anymore. It was expectant, almost knowing. And for the first time, I wondered if this had never been a joke to her at all. The living room light had dimmed, leaving only the soft golden glow of a lamp washing over me. I stood there in silence, the hem of the dress brushing against my thighs as if it had a will of its own. Emma circled me like a cat, deliberate and calculating. Her fingers trailed over my shoulder, down my arm, grazing the edge of my painted nails. "You've gotten too good at this," she whispered, her voice carrying an edge I couldn't quite read. Admiration? Mockery? A test? I couldn't tell. My throat tightened. It was just supposed to be a joke, I murmured, my voice trembling. The wig's curls brushed my cheeks every time I moved my head, a reminder of how far I'd let things go. Emma's laugh was soft but sharp. A joke? Jake, jokes don't last this long. Look at you. She leaned in close, her perfume surrounding me. You look beautiful. The word rolled off her tongue deliberately, like she knew it would unravel me. Beautiful. That word cut through me, sharper than any insult. My heart pounded as I stared at the floor, too afraid to meet her eyes. Beautiful. I wasn't supposed to like hearing it, but I did. Just as I tried to find something, anything, to say, a loud knock on the door jolted us both. My blood ran cold. Emma's head snapped toward the sound, then back to me. Her grin widened like this was all part of her plan. Don't move, she whispered, already stepping toward the door. This should be fun. Emma, wait. I hissed, panic surging through me. I grabbed her wrist, but she slipped free with ease, the smirk never leaving her face. The knock came again, louder this time. My legs felt like jelly. If anyone saw me like this, it would be over. My friends, my reputation, my life.
Gone.
I backed toward the hallway, my heels clicking against the hardwood like gunshots in the silence. Emma opened the door. Hey, Em, a voice called, casual and friendly. My heart stopped. It was Ryan, Emma's older cousin, the one who always hung around, nosy and too observant for his own good. Ryan, Emma said smoothly, leaning against the doorframe. What are you doing here? Just in the neighborhood, he replied, stepping inside without hesitation. My stomach dropped. Thought I'd check in. Hang out. His eyes scanned the room casually before landing almost on me. I froze in the shadows of the hallway, every nerve screaming at me to run. But running would make noise. Running would expose me. I pressed against the wall, praying the dim light hid me well enough. Emma's tone was playful, almost conspiratorial. Perfect timing, actually. I was just in the middle of something. Ryan raised a brow. Something? Her eyes flicked toward me, just for a second, and my heart hammered so loud I swore Ryan could hear it. She was toying with me, testing how far I'd go. Ryan moved closer to the living room, and I instinctively tried to retreat. But the heel of my shoe caught on the carpet. I stumbled, barely catching myself against the wall. The sound wasn't loud, but it was enough. Ryan's head snapped in my direction.
What was that? He asked.
Emma didn't miss a beat. Just the TV. I had it on earlier. She walked casually toward me, her back blocking his view. Her eyes met mine for the briefest moment, glittering with wicked delight. She mouthed, "Stay quiet." I swallowed hard, every muscle tense. Ryan shrugged and dropped onto the couch, scrolling through his phone.
Cool.
You got any drinks? Emma smirked.
Yeah.
I'll grab us some. She leaned close to me as she passed, her whisper hot against my ear. You're mine until I say otherwise. The minutes that followed were torture. Emma deliberately stretched them out, pouring drinks slowly, chatting with Ryan casually, laughing at his jokes while I hid in the hallway, sweating beneath my wig. Every time Ryan's voice rose, I flinched, terrified he'd suddenly turn and spot me. Finally, Emma reappeared with 2 glasses. She set them down and perched on the arm of the couch, her legs crossed elegantly. So, Ryan, she began, what do you think of people who hide things? Ryan blinked, caught off guard. Hide things? Like secrets. Exactly. She sipped her drink, eyes flicking to me again. Like living 2 different lives. Pretending to be one person while being someone completely different when no one's looking. My stomach dropped. She wasn't just testing me anymore, she was baiting him. Ryan frowned thoughtfully. I mean, depends on the secret, I guess. Some things are better left hidden. He shrugged.
Why?
You hiding something? Emma's laugh was low, mischievous. Maybe. Or maybe I'm just waiting for someone else to confess. Her gaze locked with mine, a silent dare. My breath hitched. Confess?
To Ryan? No.
I couldn't. But the tension was unbearable, the air so thick it felt like I was suffocating. My hands trembled at my sides, and the sharp click of my nails against the wall betrayed me. Ryan's head whipped around again. "Who's back there?" he demanded, standing up this time. His footsteps came closer. I froze like a deer in headlights, caught between flight and paralysis. Before Ryan could step further, Emma moved swiftly, blocking him with an exaggerated laugh. "Relax. It's just a little surprise." She leaned in close to him, lowering her voice, but loud enough for me to hear. "Trust me, you'll love it." Her words hit me like a punch. Love it? She was going to show me off like some kind of joke, or worse, a spectacle. My throat closed, and for a moment, I thought I might faint. Emma turned her head, her smile cruel and knowing. "Isn't that right, Jake?" she called sweetly. The name pierced the silence, hanging in the air like a blade. Ryan's eyes widened, confusion spreading across his face as he stepped past her. And just like that, the wall I'd been hiding behind wasn't enough anymore. I was caught. Ryan froze mid-step, his eyes narrowing as they landed on me. I felt the world collapse in on itself. The wig, the dress, the heels, the painted lips. There was no escaping the reality. I looked nothing like the Jake he knew. His mouth opened, but no sound came out at first. The silence was louder than any shout. Finally, his words cracked the air. "What the hell, Jake?" I wanted to sink into the floor. My body shook as I pressed my back to the wall, my hands gripping the hem of the dress like it could somehow protect me. Emma leaned casually against the couch, sipping her drink as if this was the climax of a movie she had orchestrated. "Surprised?" she asked sweetly. "I told you I had a secret." Ryan's eyes darted between her and me, disbelief etched across his face. Is this some kind of joke?
What are you doing dressed like that?"
I opened my mouth, desperate to explain, but the words tangled in my throat. Nothing I could say would make sense. Not here. Not like this. Emma stepped forward, placing a hand on Ryan's arm as if guiding his reaction. "It's not a joke, Ryan. He's been doing this for a while. I just thought it was time someone else saw the real him." Her words sliced deeper than knives. The real him. The way she said it, like this version of me was permanent, undeniable. My heart thundered, shame burning in my chest. Ryan took a cautious step closer, his expression hardening. "Jake, what's going on?" It's nothing," I stammered, my voice trembling. "It's just a prank, that's all." Emma dared me. Emma cut me off with a sharp laugh. "A prank? Oh, Jake, don't embarrass yourself. Look at you." She swept her hand over me like I was a mannequin. "The makeup, the nails, the heels. You've been practicing. No one gets this good on the first try." Her words struck like lightning, illuminating the truth I didn't want spoken. Ryan's eyes softened, not with understanding, but with suspicion. He looked at me like he was piecing together a puzzle when I hadn't meant for anyone to solve. "Jake," his tone dropped, heavier, almost pitying. "You actually like this?" My chest tightened. I shook my head violently, but my silence betrayed me. Emma's smile widened. She thrived on my collapse. "He doesn't just like it, Ryan. He loves it. I've watched him. He loses himself in it." She walked toward me slowly, her heels clicking like a countdown. "Don't you, Jake?" Her hand cupped my chin, forcing me to meet her gaze. The intensity in her eyes terrified me, hungry, controlling. "Say it," she whispered. I tried to pull away, but my body betrayed me. The heat rising in my face, the racing of my pulse. It was obvious. "Say it," she repeated, louder this time. My voice cracked, breaking under the pressure. "I don't." But Ryan interrupted, his voice rising with anger. "Emma, stop. What the hell are you doing to him?" Emma turned sharply, her hair whipping over her shoulder. "Doing to him? Ryan, open your eyes. This isn't me forcing him. He's been living a lie. I just gave him the push to face it." Ryan stood firm, his fists clenched. "You're humiliating him." The two of them squared off, and I stood frozen between them, the rope in their tug-of-war. My breath came in shallow gasps, my legs trembling under the weight of the heels. Emma's voice dripped with venom. Humiliating him? Or liberating him? Look at him, Ryan. Really look. That dress fits him too well. His hands know exactly how to hold the skirt. His lips, painted perfectly. You think this is an accident? Ryan's glare softened as he turned to me again. Jake, is that true? The room spun. The air was too heavy to breathe. I wanted to scream no, to deny everything. But the mirror on the wall caught my eye, my reflection, hauntingly beautiful, undeniably feminine. The truth stared back at me, merciless. Tears welled in my eyes. I don't know anymore, I whispered. Emma's smile widened in triumph. There it is. Finally. She slipped behind me, resting her hands on my shoulders. You don't have to pretend anymore, Jake. She gestured at my body, my reflection. This is who you are. Her grip tightened, almost possessive. And I'm not letting you run from it again. Ryan's face darkened with fury. You're twisted, Emma. You're using him. This isn't love. It's control. Emma's laugh echoed in the tense room. And what would you know about love, Ryan? You can't even see what's right in front of you. He's happier like this, even if he won't admit it. I shook beneath her hands, torn in two. My heart screamed for escape, but another part of me, small, dangerous, felt the thrill of her words. Happier like this. Was it true? Suddenly, Ryan stepped forward, pulling me away from her grip. His hand was firm, protective. Jake, you don't have to do this. You don't have to let her manipulate you. But Emma didn't flinch. She only tilted her head, her smile eerily calm. Oh, he'll stay. Because deep down, he wants to. Her eyes locked on mine, daring me to contradict her. I swallowed hard, my voice barely audible. I don't. Ryan's grip tightened. Jake, tell her. Tell her you don't want this. Emma leaned close, whispering into my ear. But what if you do? The question seared into my brain. What if I did? My knees buckled. My body trembled violently as the truth I'd buried clawed its way out. My reflection, Emma's words, Ryan's protective anger. It all collided in a storm I couldn't control. Finally, the words slipped out, fragile and broken. I don't know who I am anymore. Ryan's expression faltered, sympathy breaking through his anger. He wrapped an arm around me, shielding me from Emma's gaze. Then we'll figure it out, he said firmly, without her games. But Emma only laughed again, cold and sharp. You think you can save him from himself? You're a fool, Ryan. She stepped back, her silhouette framed in the lamp's golden glow, her smile haunting. This isn't the end. He'll come back to me. He always will. The room fell into silence, the tension so thick it was suffocating. Ryan guided me toward the hallway, away from her, but her voice followed like a shadow. You can't hide forever, Jake. Not from me. Not from yourself. The house felt unbearably quiet after Emma's laughter faded into the night. Ryan had guided me into my room, closing the door behind us, as though shutting out her presence could erase the tension she'd left behind. But her words lingered in my ears like a curse. I sat on the edge of my bed, still in the dress, my heels abandoned on the carpet. My legs trembled, my hands clutching the skirt as if letting go would make me unravel. My reflection in the dresser mirror mocked me, red lips smudged, eyeliner streaked with tears, yet still hauntingly beautiful. Ryan crouched in front of me, his voice soft but steady. Jake, talk to me. Do you want this? Do you want to be like this? I couldn't answer. My heart thundered against my ribs, torn between denial and the undeniable pull of the truth. Because if you don't, he continued, we'll forget tonight ever happened. I'll protect you. Emma won't get another chance to use you. His hand brushed mine gently, grounding me. But if you do, then you have to stop hiding. At least from yourself. His words should have comforted me. Instead, they dug deeper into the pit of my confusion. I turned away from him, staring at the mirror. I don't know who I am anymore, I whispered, my voice trembling. Before Ryan could reply, a sharp knock rattled the bedroom door. We both froze. 3 knocks. Firm. Intentional. Emma's voice slid through the wood, low and melodic. Jake, are you really going to let him decide for you? Open the door. Look at yourself in the mirror. You already know where you belong. My blood ran cold. Ryan stood quickly, placing himself between me and the door. Ignore her, he said firmly. But her voice pressed harder, each word laced with poison. Do you feel it, Jake? The way the dress hugs you. The way those heels made you stand taller, softer, prettier. You can't lie to yourself forever. I covered my ears, but her words slipped through anyway, seeping into me. My pulse raced, my body betraying me with every memory of how thrilling it felt to wear those heels. Ryan turned back to me, his voice desperate now. Jake, listen to me. She's manipulating you. You don't have to open that door. But Emma's knock came again, louder this time. Or you can keep hiding. Keep pretending. But we both know the truth will eat you alive. My legs twitched, aching to move. I hated myself for it, but the pull toward that door was magnetic. Ryan saw it in my eyes. Jake, don't. Please. The room spun. The mirror showed me two versions of myself, the broken boy in tears and the almost perfect girl Emma wanted me to see.
Who was I?
Emma's final words slithered through the door, soft and haunting. Open the door, Jake. Step into who you really are. Or stay there in the dark, clinging to someone else's idea of you. But remember, once you've tasted this, you'll never be able to go back. My hand lifted, trembling violently, reaching not for Ryan, but for the doorknob. Ryan grabbed my wrist. Jake. His eyes burned with fear. Don't let her control you. I stared at him, then at the door. My breath came in shallow bursts. One choice meant safety. The other meant falling into Emma's world, maybe forever. The knob turned under my hand. The door creaked open an inch. Emma's silhouette loomed in the hallway, her smile framed by the glow of the overhead light. She looked like a shadow, a promise, a threat. There you are, she whispered. And that was where the night ended, caught between Ryan's desperate grip and Emma's haunting pull, the reflection in the mirror mocking me with the truth I wasn't ready to face.